The inheritance. Me name is Diana Matthews, and I'm 42 years old. I've spent the last 17 years building a life with a man I thought I knew. Marcus was my husband. Charming, successful, always knew exactly what to say to make people believe in him. For nearly 2 decades, I stood beside him, supported his career, managed our home, and believed in our future together. But love can be a funny thing. Sometimes it blinds us. Sometimes it makes us ignore the little signs that something isn't quite right. I first noticed the distance about a year ago. Marcus started working late. His phone became a fortress. He'd smile at me across the dinner table, but his eyes were somewhere else. With someone else. Her name was Vanessa, 28 years old. She worked in his office. I found out the way most women do. A text message that appeared on his phone while he was in the shower. Just a glimpse, but it was enough. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. My hands shook as I set the phone down. My heart felt like it was breaking in slow motion, but I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed to think, to plan, to understand what I was really dealing with. For months, I watched, I documented, I stayed calm on the outside while my world crumbled on the inside. Marcus grew bolder. He'd come home smelling of her perfume. He stopped trying to hide it. Then came the letter. Marcus's uncle Theodore had passed away. A wealthy man who'd never married, never had children. The family gathered for the reading of the will, expecting Theodore's estate to be divided among his nephews and nieces. I remember sitting in that lawyer's office, watching Marcus lean back in his chair with confidence. He'd always been Theodore's favorite, or so he thought. When Marcus heard he was inheriting over $2 million, his face transformed. Pure joy, pure greed. He turned to me with a smile I hadn't seen in months. Diana, he said, his voice almost giddy. We're set for life, baby. Everything's about to change. But what he meant was different from what I heard. What he really meant was, I can finally leave you and start over with Vanessa. The ride home was quiet. He was on his phone the entire time, texting, smiling, planning his new life. When we walked through our front door, he finally turned to me. His face had changed, cold now, determined. Diana, I want a divorce. The words should have hurt, but I'd been preparing for them. Okay, I said calmly. He blinked, surprised by my composure. I'm going to be fair about this. You'll get your share, but I need to move on with my life. Of course, I replied, keeping my voice steady. Let's get it done quickly. His relief was visible. He thought I was making this easy for him. He thought he'd won. We signed the papers 3 weeks later. Marcus was cheerful throughout the process, eager to start his new chapter. He'd already moved in with Vanessa. I'd heard they were planning a wedding. I signed my name on the divorce papers with a steady hand. Marcus barely glanced at me. He was already gone, already living in his fantasy future. 2 days after our divorce was finalized, Marcus went back to the lawyer's office to claim his inheritance. I imagine he walked in with confidence, ready to collect his fortune and build his new life. But when the lawyer handed him the final will documents, Marcus's face must have drained of color, because Theodore's will had a clause. A very specific clause. The inheritance was only valid if Marcus was still married to me. Theodore had loved me. He'd told me once, years ago at a family dinner, that I was the best thing that ever happened to his nephew, that I brought kindness and grace to the family, that I deserved to be taken care of. He'd written it into his will. $2 million to Marcus, but only if he remained married to Diana Matthews. If the marriage ended for any reason, the entire inheritance would go to charity. Marcus called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. The next day, he showed up at my door. His face was pale, desperate, the confidence completely gone. Diana, he said, his voice shaking. We made a mistake. I asked softly. The divorce. We shouldn't have. I wasn't thinking clearly. We can fix this. I looked at the man I'd spent 17 years with. The man who'd betrayed me for someone younger. The man who'd been so eager to throw away our marriage the moment he thought he had money. No, Marcus, I said quietly. We can't please. He actually dropped to his knees on my front porch. Right there. The same man who'd told me to pack my bags just weeks ago. I'll do anything. I made a terrible mistake. I love you. I've always loved you. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. Just peace. You don't love me, Marcus. You love money. There's a difference. The inheritance, he whispered. It's gone. All of it. $2 million. Gone, I know, I said. He looked up at me then, something dawning in his eyes. You knew about the clause Theodore had told me years ago. He'd wanted me to know that I was valued, then I was protected. He'd made me promise not to tell Marcus, and I'd kept that promise. Goodbye, Marcus, I said, and I closed the door. Through the window, I watched him kneel there for a long moment before finally standing and walking away. Vanessa left him 2 weeks later. Apparently, a man with no inheritance wasn't quite as attractive as she'd thought. As for me, I'm rebuilding. I have my work, my friends, my dignity. Theodore's real gift to me wasn't the money Marcus lost. It was the knowledge that someone saw my worth when I'd almost forgotten it myself. Sometimes the universe has a sense of justice. Sometimes kindness is remembered. And sometimes the best revenge is simply knowing your own value. I'm 42 years old, and I'm finally free.